They bring in 2 closing interviews with accusers of Andrew Tate. There's no names given. They give fake names. There's no, they change the voices on one. The first one, the accusations of these 2 women that they claim sexual assault. They show a nervous girl. They're constantly showing her doing this with her hands. This is emotional manipulation of the audience. It happens all the time in media. They want you to try Andrew Tate in the court of public opinion. They want you to be emotionally like, oh my God, look at this girl. How could she be lying? Look, she's nervous. She's scared. What could be? They want you to have an emotional reaction to what's happening. That is the whole motivation of these 2 segments. They play voice memos from Andrew. Now, what they don't tell you, the voice memos are actually, and I'm not going to play them. Again, I won't play this stuff because it's been manipulated, and I won't give credence to manipulated content. The voice memos are 7 clips. 7 individual clips that are edited together to be 43 seconds total. Now, some of the stuff that Andrew says, if you listen to it, you're like, oh, did he really say that? It's off-putting. Then you realize, well, wait a minute, what did the girl say before him? There's no context. You don't hear what the girl said before or after. In fact, you don't hear from the girl at all. So you don't know what's going on. You're like, is this a conversation they were having? Was this the nature of the conversation? Was it a kink conversation? And what's interesting is that these voice memos are portrayed as evidence to Matt Shea and Vice of sexual assault. And it's interesting, if you look at Vice, in the next day or days after, they publish an article about consensual, non-consensual fantasy and how within a consensual setting, some women will have these fantasies about non-consensual acts, about, strangulation, all this stuff. We had a girl on a panel. Do you remember when we had that panel where we had a girl saying, looked like a regular girl to me, looked like a modest girl, and she was like, one of the things that she needed from a man, from guys on the checklist was like, make over 100K, blah blah blah, must be willing to strangle me. She said it outright verbally. So this is real. There are women. 50 Shades of Grey was popular for a reason, because there were women that were like getting turned on to the idea of, with someone that you trust in a consensual setting, there's this role play. There's this like victim / perpetrator thing. It's role play. It's like a fantasy role play that some people are into. It's not my thing, to be perfectly honest, but it does exist, and it is more prevalent than people realize. And in fact, Vice acknowledges that, because they wrote an article and published it that same week that they released this stuff about the voice memos, saying that this stuff is real. This consensual, non-consensual fantasy is real among women. So I would love to ask them, well, did it occur to you that this was some type of kink going on? We already know that Andrew had been, these voice memos are from a long time ago. We already know that he had been involved in some type of kink, because you had that video where he was like with the whip with the girl, and the girl came out and said, it was consensual. This is just something we used to do. We were into kink, right? Okay, that's your thing. As long as it's consensual, I don't really care what you do. Right? It's your bedroom, not mine. So why did nobody ask? Why did nobody say that? And the Vice said, well, we can't air this because we'd have to air what you said. Can we have what you said as well? Interesting. They chose to just chop up what he said and have the audience go, because they can't see the context. That is the goal. Some were saying it was AI, by the way. I don't know if it was AI, if it was his voice. I don't know. Only he can attest to that. I don't know. The second girl they interview also alleges physical violence, strangling, whatnot. She says she observed him sexually assaulting another woman. Then they show these texts on the screen, right? Which they highlight, they pull out the words that they like. What's interesting about the text exchanges between her and Andrew that are shown, the text exchanges confirm that she gave consent. In her own words, she says, and I quote, if I consent, it's not, I'm going to say grape, YouTube. If I consent, it's not grape. Why would I talk to you if I didn't want to see you, she says. Admission, she wants to see him. She wants to be around him. So the text messages are actually saying the opposite of what she's alleging in the Vice interview. They say nothing was done. The case was left. That's actually not what happened. So here, I'm going to tell you what happened. And let me tell you something. A lot of women sent me these messages and were like, did you hear this? And I know as a female, women walk through life and we are very conscious of the fact that we're small. And there are many times when we feel vulnerable. You walk down, a block and you see like a big man coming at you. Always in the back of your mind, whether he's, harmful or not, is like, oh my God, like there is a component of just being small. There's a fragility to it. And a lot of women hear this and they just like have an immediate reaction. That was the point. That was the point. They wanted to trigger everybody so that they weren't rational and saying, where are the responses from the girls? is that, where they were paralyzed by their horror and their fragility that they feel as a woman. Oh my God, they put themselves in that situation. What would I do? What would I do? They start to panic because they're like, they've got the empathy going on and they've lost all rationality. That's what Vice was hoping for. That didn't work for me. So I went and did some research, and I found out that these women, their evidence was sent to the Crown Prosecution Service. It was sent to CPS. And we now know that it was dismissed, or as the woman says, was just left because the evidence didn't meet the legal standard. They got the evidence, and by that, by the way, CPS didn't only see what Andrew was saying, but CPS saw the conversations going back and forth. CPS saw what was on the other side of Andrew's message. And I don't know. What was that? What was the woman saying? Was it role play? Was something going on? CPS saw the text messages where there is consent being given front and center. She's saying, if I consent, it's not this. I want to see you. My guess is that, among other things, probably blew the whole thing up. So why, you ask, or let me ask for you for a second, why would Vice have two people on whose claims already were submitted to authorities and dismissed because there wasn't evidence to support those claims? Because it's not about facts, it's about emotion. Again, they need you emotionally reacting to content. It doesn't matter if it's factual or not. They need you the same way we just lived through the last 2 years of the pandemic. It was all about fear. It wasn't about fact, it was about fear. This is the same thing. They want you afraid of this guy, feeling this guy is a threat, feeling like no matter what, he's got to be put away. He's bad. That's what the message is. Now, I would appreciate if they're going to showcase something like this, they should at least have the decency to do their research. They did the research, by the way. They did the research. They just didn't showcase it because they knew it didn't fit the narrative. Now, since then, some things have happened that I want to bring to your attention, and then we'll get back to, do we have chats? Okay, we're going to get back to the chat in just a second. Hit that subscribe button, by the way. Hit that like button. And by the way, listen, I know this is a different show. I know typically I'm on here. We've got the videos. We've got a lot of interaction. But this has to be done, okay? Because the matrix, the system, the powers that be expect me not to do it. They expect people like me to say, oh, it's a garbage organization. I'm just going to leave it alone. And you know what? Everybody does that. And what happens? The narrative sticks. And they disseminate their garbage. I can't have that, okay? So this has to be done. This is just some of the grit we have to endure. So video has since emerged, by the way. We talked about these last two girls. Georgiana and Luana are two women who work with the Tates. They were also arrested initially. I think they've been released. That's my understanding. They have video, by the way. They have video of the girls that were claiming that they were held captive and the girls that were claiming assault dancing. Now, I don't know if you have, do you have this video? Do you see that YouTube? Do you have a YouTube link there? Could we play it without sound? Don't put the sound on. So mute them. I just want to talk while it's... Georgiana and Luana do this interview, and they show video of... You can play it. I just don't want it to have sound. They show video of the girl. I think that's her right there. They say the one with the tattoos and all that. She claims she was sexually assaulted. That's her dancing and partying right there with the tattoos in the house 3 weeks after the assault. She's dancing, she's drinking, she's partying. That's twerking, doing all sorts of stuff. I'm just curious. Legitimate question. Okay, you can stop it. Legitimate question. If you had been the victim of something like that, does that seem like odd behavior to you, that you would stay in the house and be having a party, twerking, half naked, all? I mean, it just something is not adding up for me. Because I'm not coming at this from an emotional place. I'm coming at this from a factual place. As a female, if something so horrid happened to me, I'm like, that seems like an odd reaction to me. They also, by the way, in that clip, we're not going to show it because you have to scroll through and all that. There's a girl that says that she was held captive. There's a video of her sitting at the table scrolling on her cell phone. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know any women who've been held captive who have their cell phone to just talk on and scroll and just have text. I mean, it would be kind of silly, right? You're going to hold somebody captive and they're just going to be like, oh, come get me, I'm held. Something's not adding up for me. Just saying. And there have been multiple videos. We showed videos, by the way, last week. I have this on my phone. I wonder if I saved it. We showed videos last week of two other women, Romanian women, who had come forth and said, we're not victims. They keep saying that we're victims, but I'm here to tell you that we're not victims. Did I screenshot that? I don't know that I did. Oh, yes, I did. Here. That's Beatrice and Jasmine. Romanian police deem them to be potential victims of Andrew. They're saying we're not. They're all over the place now, by the way. Very attractive, brunette and blonde. Out saying, but we're tired of this. We're tired of people saying that we're victims. We're telling you we're not. These people are like family to us. So what is going on that it seems to me like there is a rush to, like, they can't they're looking for something, right? They're looking for something. They need a story. They're looking for it, and they're not getting it. So now it's like, oh, these are victim. No, we're not. Oh, somebody else is the victim. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like you're trying really hard. Now, here's what I say: if the evidence is there, why do you have to try so hard? If the evidence is there, doesn't the evidence speak for itself? If you like the short clip and want to watch another short clip, click here, or if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.